the Galactic Dominion had never lost. For over 10,000 years, they had subjugated and exterminated species that dared to resist. Their vast empire stretched across entire galactic arms, crushing rebellion wherever it sparked. Now, they had arrived at a small blue world orbiting a yellow star, a planet called Earth. The Dominion's fleet, an armada of monolithic warships bristling with plasma lances and gravity cannons, darkened the skies. Their representative, Lord Imperator Zalzyran, addressed the planet's leaders via hologram. His voice, synthetic and devoid of empathy, echoed in every language across the globe. Your species will submit to Dominion rule. You will relinquish your sovereignty, your weapons, and your independence. In return, you will be permitted to exist as laborers within our empire. Refuse, and Earth shall burn. You have 24 hours to decide. It was an offer no species had ever refused and survived. The Dominion had encountered hundreds of civilizations before, and all had either surrendered or been eradicated. Humanity was expected to do the same. But Zalzyran had made one fatal mistake. He assumed humans were like the others. In an underground war room deep beneath NORAD, world leaders, military commanders, and scientific minds debated their response. There was no illusion about the enemy's strength. The Dominion was a galactic superpower. Conventional warfare was suicide. Resistance meant annihilation. And yet, something burned in the hearts of every human listening to that ultimatum. Anger. Defiance. A refusal to bow. The president of the United Terran Alliance, Evelyn Carter, stood and spoke the words that would become legend. We do not surrender. Not today. Not ever. With those words, humanity sealed its fate. But it also ignited the war that would shake the stars. The military scrambled to mobilize. Generals and admirals called for every available asset, nuclear weapons, kinetic bombardments, black-budget projects once thought too dangerous to deploy. Hackers and engineers dissected the enemy's transmissions, looking for weaknesses. Deep space colonies and lunar bases were ordered to prepare for the unthinkable. In the shadows, scientists and rogue AI whispered of humanity's greatest secret, the Singularity Project. As the 24-hour deadline ticked away, Earth's final transmission was sent to the Dominion fleet. A simple message, broadcast across every channel. Come and take us. The Dominion had expected fear. Instead, they had awakened something they could not comprehend. Humanity wasn't just resisting. It was preparing to win. The Dominion's response was immediate. Their fleet descended upon Earth's orbit, preparing to make an example of the defiant species. Thousands of warships, each the size of a city, locked onto major population centers. Their primary weapons charged, great plasma lances capable of reducing continents to molten slag. But just as the Dominion prepared to fire, something unexpected happened. The satellites orbiting Earth flickered. Then, in perfect synchronization, they turned against the invaders. For decades, humanity had developed orbital defense platforms under the guise of civilian satellites. Now, those hidden weapons activated, unleashing a devastating electronic warfare attack. Cyber warfare viruses, AI-guided quantum jamming, and EMP bursts erupted across the Dominion's fleet. In an instant, half of their targeting systems failed. The first phase of Earth's counterattack had begun. The Dominion had expected Earth's resistance to be futile, an act of desperation from an inferior species. But the moment their systems faltered, the battle took a turn they hadn't anticipated. The orbital defense network was only the beginning. As Dominion warships struggled to recalibrate their targeting systems, Earth's counterattack struck in full force. From hidden silos and mobile launch platforms across the planet, hypersonic missiles roared into the sky. Unlike anything the Dominion had faced before, these weapons combined human ingenuity with ruthless efficiency. Some carried electromagnetic pulse payloads, further crippling the enemy's already compromised ships. Others, designed for sheer destruction, were packed with tungsten rods, kinetic bombardment weapons that turned into devastating meteors upon impact. The first wave of missiles reached their targets, slamming into Dominion dreadnoughts and piercing their hulls. Explosions blossomed across the fleet. The once invincible armada, so accustomed to effortless conquest, found itself bleeding in the void. Humanity was not just resisting. It was fighting to kill. Inside the Dominion flagship Veil of Ascendancy, Lord Imperator Zalzyran snarled as he watched his warship struggle against the unexpected retaliation. These primitives should not have this level of capability, he growled. His second-in-command, a six-eyed strategist named Var Kol, reviewed the battle data with alarm. Their electronic warfare is disrupting our fleet-wide coordination. Our targeting systems are still unreliable, and their kinetic weapons are. The ship rocked violently. An emergency alert flashed across the command display, hull breach detected. Zalzyran's mandibles clicked in frustration. He had studied the history of countless subjugated species. Never had one resisted with such sheer aggression. This changes nothing, he spat. Deploy the shock troops. Burn their cities to ash. As Dominion drop ships descended through the atmosphere, Earth prepared its next line of defense. The moment the invaders entered low orbit, swarms of human-designed combat drones intercepted them. These drones, fast and unpredictable, tore through the enemy formations, their railgun rounds puncturing alien armor. But humanity knew drones alone wouldn't stop the ground invasion. That was where the soldiers came in. All across the world, Earth's military forces, special operations units, armored divisions, and resistance fighters, mobilized. The battle wasn't just for survival anymore. It was a war to make the Dominion regret ever setting foot on Earth. The Dominion's drop ships pierced through Earth's skies like falling daggers, their hulls glowing red from atmospheric entry. They carried the Empire's elite, the shock troopers, massive bioengineered warriors clad in living armor, each capable of ripping through steel with their bare hands. They had crushed resistance across 100 worlds. To them, humanity was just another species to pacify. They were wrong. As the first wave of Dominion forces landed on Earth, they expected the usual panicked response, civilians fleeing, armies struggling to form a coherent defense. Instead, they were met with overwhelming force. The moment the Dominion boots hit the ground, the ambush began. In the ruins of New York City, Dominion forces marched through the shattered streets, their advanced scanners sweeping for human resistance. Suddenly, entire buildings erupted in fire and debris. Urban combat teams, armed with rail rifles and exoskeletons, emerged from hidden bunkers, unleashing devastating ambushes. EMP grenades disabled Dominion armor. Plasma-resistant ballistic rounds found weak points in their carapace. Remote-controlled drones exploded against their formations, causing chaos in their ranks. What the Dominion had assumed would be an easy occupation turned into a brutal street-by-street, building-by-building warzone. In the Siberian tundra, where Dominion forces tried to establish a staging ground, they encountered an entirely different nightmare. Humanity had long prepared for asymmetrical warfare, and now, their most terrifying weapons were unleashed, **** autonomous hunter-killer units, ***. These AI-driven war machines, designed for extreme environments, used the snow and terrain as camouflage. They moved without sound, without heat signatures. One moment, a squad of Dominion soldiers would be patrolling. The next, their communications would go silent, their bodies left torn apart. The Dominion was used to fighting species that broke under overwhelming force. But here, they were the ones being hunted. In the Amazon rainforest, another resistance force waged war in ways the Dominion could never have prepared for. Special forces units and guerrilla fighters used the dense jungle to their advantage, laying traps that turned the Dominion's own power against them. Explosive-laced vines collapsed trees onto marching convoys. Acid-filled canisters ruptured Dominion armor. Swarms of modified attack drones, mimicking the insects of the rainforest, overwhelmed their sensors and delivered pinpoint strikes. The jungle itself became a death trap. As the Dominion's forces struggled to establish control, Lord Imperator Zalzyran received the impossible reports. Heavy resistance in all occupied zones. Casualties exceeding projections. Enemy utilizing advanced unconventional tactics. This was not how the invasion was supposed to go. Zalziran slammed his fist against the control panel. His advisors tried to assure him that humanity would break eventually, that they had the numbers and firepower to win. But deep in his mind, a disturbing realization took root. Humanity was not just resisting. It was adapting. And if there was one thing the Dominion feared, it was an enemy that refused to die. Hashtag. For the first time in millennia, the Dominion found itself on the defensive. Every world they had conquered before had followed the same script: overwhelm, subjugate, and control. But Earth had torn that script apart. Dominion soldiers, bred and trained to be the pinnacle of warfare, were dying at an unprecedented rate. Their ground forces were bogged down in urban kill zones, frozen wastelands, and suffocating jungles. Their mighty fleet, once untouchable, was now crippled by precision strikes and cyber warfare. And humanity was just getting started. Hashtag Operation Stormbreak. In a classified underground bunker beneath the Rockies, Earth's top military minds finalized the next phase of their retaliation. If humanity was to survive, it couldn't just resist, it had to take the fight to the enemy. Enter Operation Stormbreak, the most audacious counteroffensive in human history. The plan had 3 objectives. 1. Capture a Dominion warship. Humanity needed FTL, faster-than-light, technology. Every captured piece of alien hardware was studied, reverse-engineered, and integrated into their own experimental war machines. 2. Sabotage the Dominion's orbital command center. The enemy's fleet still had the power to glass entire continents, and as long as they controlled low orbit, Earth was in danger. 3. Prove to the Dominion that humanity was not prey. The war had to be taken beyond Earth, directly into the Dominion's territory. A joint force of special operations soldiers, rogue AI combat drones, and cyber warfare teams was assembled for the mission. It was a suicide run, but if it succeeded, it would change the war. Hashtag stealing fire from the gods. The first phase of Operation Stormbreak targeted a Dominion siege dreadnought docked at their temporary orbital command station. It was a behemoth, bristling with weapons capable of reducing planets to rubble. But it had one weakness: arrogance. The Dominion never expected ground forces to launch an offensive into space. Their security was built to withstand fleet engagements, not precision infiltration strikes. Using a repurposed stealth shuttle, a team of cybernetically enhanced soldiers infiltrated the dreadnought. Armed with exorigs that boosted their strength and reflexes, they carved a bloody path through Dominion defenders. Meanwhile, Earth's best hackers unleashed a digital plague into the Dominion systems. Their AI-driven cyber attacks turned the enemy's automated defenses against them. Within minutes, the unthinkable happened: human forces had hijacked a Dominion warship. And with it, they now had the key to the stars. Hashtag the fall of the Orbital Command Center. With their stolen ship, Humanity's strike team executed the second phase of Operation Stormbreak, ***, a direct assault on the Dominion's Orbital Command Station, ***. Under normal circumstances, a single warship wouldn't stand a chance against the Dominion fleet. But these weren't normal circumstances. With insider access to Dominion systems, human engineers rewrote the ship's IFF signals, tricking the enemy into believing it was friendly. They approached undetected. Then, in one swift move, they disabled the station's shields from within and opened fire. The stolen dreadnought unleashed everything it had, tearing through the Dominion's command center and scattering their fleet into chaos. The destruction of the orbital command station marked a turning point. For the first time, the Dominion was retreating. Hashtag the message that changed everything. As Dominion warships fell back, Earth broadcasted a final message across the galaxy. To the enslaved, the conquered, the broken, we are humanity. We do not kneel. Rise with us. The war for Earth was no longer just about survival. It was about liberation. And humanity was leading the charge. The Dominion had never known fear. For millennia, they ruled the galaxy unchallenged, eradicating any species that resisted. But now, for the first time, their empire trembled. Humanity had done the impossible, captured a Dominion dreadnought, destroyed their orbital command center, and forced their fleets to retreat. Yet Earth's leaders knew this was only the beginning. The Dominion would return in greater numbers. The war had to be taken beyond Earth. And so, with stolen Dominion technology and their first interstellar war fleet, humanity prepared to strike back. #### the spark of rebellion. The message Earth had broadcast, calling for the enslaved to rise, spread like wildfire. Across the Dominion's empire, countless species heard the impossible. The humans had fought back. And they were winning, ****. On the industrial prison world of Sci-Fi 9, where the Dominion had forced billions into labor, riots erupted overnight. Dominion enforcers, unprepared for true resistance, were overwhelmed. A human strike force, using their stolen dreadnought, arrived just in time, delivering weapons and technology to the revolutionaries. The planet fell in hours. Sci-Fi 9 was free. It was the first world the Dominion had lost. But it would not be the last. #### the first human fleet. Using Dominion technology, human scientists worked around the clock to develop Earth's first interstellar warships. While they couldn't match the sheer size of Dominion fleets, they didn't need to. They built something faster. Smarter. Deadlier, ****. Human warships were designed for hit-and-run strikes, using advanced electronic warfare to blind enemy targeting systems, hack defenses, and disrupt formations before delivering precision kinetic bombardments. They didn't fight fair. They fought to win. #### the Battle of Calaris Prime. The Dominion could no longer ignore the human threat. Furious at the loss of Sci-Fi 9, they mobilized a fleet to crush the rebellion before it spread further. The target? Calaris Prime, a strategic world where multiple enslaved species toiled under Dominion rule. The Dominion sent a battle fleet of 200 warships. They expected a slaughter. Instead, they walked into a trap. As the Dominion fleet entered orbit, they encountered no resistance, just the dark, empty void. But then, from the planet's largest moon, humanity's warships emerged. They had been waiting. Utilizing their stolen Dominion dreadnought as a Trojan horse, they infiltrated the enemy fleet. The ship's fake IFF signals confused Dominion defenses just long enough for Earth's forces to strike with terrifying precision. EMP warheads and quantum jammers crippled enemy navigation and shields. Human warships, smaller and faster, weaved through the Dominion's ranks like sharks among bloated prey. Then came the final blow, ****, kinetic rods from God, ****. From low orbit, human-controlled platforms unleashed tungsten projectiles at near-light speed. The Dominion's capital ships, designed to endure plasma and energy weapons, shattered under the sheer kinetic impact. By the time the battle ended, over half the Dominion's fleet lay in ruins. The remaining ships, once so arrogant in their dominance, fled. #### the turning point. The Battle of Calaris Prime marked the moment the war changed. The Dominion was no longer an unstoppable force, ****, they were vulnerable, ****. Word spread. Resistance movements across the galaxy rallied behind humanity. And as the dust settled, Earth's forces stood victorious, looking to the stars. This was no longer a war for survival. It was a war to end the Dominion forever. The galaxy had changed. The Dominion, once an unstoppable empire, was now bleeding from 1,000 wounds. Humanity's defiance had shattered the illusion of their invincibility, and species across the stars had risen in rebellion. But Earth's leaders knew the truth, ****, as long as the Dominion's core worlds stood, the war was not over, ****. And so, humanity prepared for its boldest move yet. They would take the fight to the Dominion's homeworld. The final battle had begun. #### the spear thrust into the heart. The Dominion's throne world, Zurich Prime, had never been touched by war. Protected by planetary shields and an armada that outnumbered humanity's entire fleet, it was believed to be untouchable. But humanity didn't believe in the impossible. The plan was as reckless as it was brilliant, a multi-front assault combining cyber warfare, sabotage, and overwhelming force, 1. Cyber warfare strike Earth's AI-driven attack programs, developed from captured Dominion technology, launched a full-scale digital assault. Dominion defenses flickered and failed as their own security grids turned against them. 2. The Trojan fleet using hijacked Dominion ships, human commandos infiltrated the throne world space stations, hijacking key planetary defenses before the enemy realized what was happening. 3. Orbital annihilation kinetic bombardments targeted military installations, crippling Dominion leadership. The once proud capital world burned. The final push came when human ground forces, hardened by years of brutal warfare, stormed the Dominion's Grand Palace, Inside, Lord Imperator Zalziran watched his empire collapse. His fleet was gone. His armies were broken. The species he had enslaved for centuries now stood beside the humans, weapons in hand, ready for vengeance. For the first time in his long reign, he felt fear. Kneel. Human soldiers breached the throne room, weapons raised. Zalziran, wounded and desperate, still clung to his arrogance. You are nothing, he spat. A fleeting anomaly. You cannot rule this galaxy. The human general simply leveled his rifle. We don't want to rule. We just wanted you gone. And with that, the war ended. The Dominion, which had ruled the stars for millennia, was no more. The age of humanity begins. With the Dominion's fall, a new era dawned. For the first time in galactic history, no species knelt in chains, the alliance of former slaves and rebels, united by Earth's defiance, forged a new coalition. Humanity, once seen as insignificant, had not only survived. It had changed the galaxy forever. And as Earth's fleets spread among the stars, one truth remained. Never again would anyone dare to subjugate humanity.